argue that if the 20s didn't get interrupted, you know, by the 29 crash, you know, that kind of idea that live hard and fast because life's going to just kill you anyway, that kind of attitude was there. But, you know, obviously then everything went to hell and you had the war and everybody had to get serious again. And so then everybody started wearing, you know, wool skirts again and being all crazy and conservative because everybody had to be serious again. Everybody had to start being, everybody had to be a grown-up. You know, nobody, you know, you just couldn't just bail. You had to do something. Because serious shit was happening. I mean, people were dying and fucking shit. It was, you know.
I almost wonder if whatever crisis is coming around the corner will do that again.
Well, I think the same crisis is coming around the corner. So, yeah, I think the stock market is due for a nice, big, giant reversal.
You think history repeats itself in that way, that will get everything else that came after that with the wars following that, or...
Well, you can't solve the problem the same way. It's not the Industrial Revolution anymore. You can't go back to the old days. You can't, you know, so no, it's not going to, the answers aren't going to be, the fault won't be the same and the solutions won't be the same. As times change, we're running out of energy and we're running out of oxygen, you know, so, you know.
Do you think the Malthusian scenario will happen, or you think we'll find some little way to kind of sneak past it?
Well, I don't know. I don't see any prospect of humans surviving their violent tendencies. So, I don't think we're going to get buried under excess population. I just think we're going to get buried under nuclear fallout eventually.
As long as I survive till the end, don't care.
Yeah, I know you don't care. Look, you can keep saying you don't care forever and ever and ever, and it doesn't going to mean anything to me because it just sounds like somebody saying, I'm too ignorant to figure out that it matters. Okay, you're too ignorant to figure out that it matters. Fine. I'm not too ignorant to figure out it matters. It matters when people suffer. You don't think so? It's because you're dumb.
Well, as long as I'm not suffering...
Again, I don't know how, I just don't know how to explain it to you, but see, I grew up with sisters and mother and a father, and so I had other people in my family, and I got this idea in my head that what happens to them is important because they're important to me. And so it was really kind of a common sense, obvious thing that I'm not the only person on earth, I'm not the only consciousness that matters, so having a conversation about how it affects me with other people seems kind of rude and obnoxious. If somebody came up to me and told me that I'm going to have a conversation about me and I'm not going to include you, then I'd be like, well, fuck you. Why would I want to talk to some asshole who only thinks he's the only person on earth?
I suppose I'm being bad.
Blah 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 blah. What? I just don't, you know, whatever. I don't have any way to communicate with people who just aren't going to accept the basic fundamental premise that the only thing that matters in this stupid, idiotic game we're playing is the fact that feeling things feel. I mean, it really doesn't matter if bombs blow up if no feelings and things are going to feel anything. It doesn't matter whether anything happens. It doesn't matter whether all the Twinkies have, you know, fake cream in the middle. If no one's going to be feeling and eating them who feels, then it doesn't matter. Nothing, everything can be fake, everything can be phony, everything can break, everything can blow up. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters if nothing feeling is going to get hurt by it. Damn, it's just not that complicated. This is really a simple game. I sort of use this analogy in a video. I don't know if it's going to catch on at all. But I was just thinking about this idea of the Bitcoin, and I was just thinking about the economy of this feeling thing, and I was just saying to myself, people need to metaphor it as like every time you have a feeling, some kind of coin flies out of your head, right? And there's little red coins and green coins, let's say. And the red coins consume the green coins. So every time you're feeling, little either happy green is floating out or unhappy red is floating out. And it all goes into the atmosphere and smashes into each other. And the end result is there's either more green or there's more red. Okay? You know, either one side or the other, we're bent going one way or the other. And I'm not going to argue, of course, that there's always more red. But I mean, it's just this, that's the economy of this thing. That's how simple it is. All you do is add up how much red shit there is, and then you minus how much green shit, and there's your answer to how big a fucking failure the human race is. Yeah, it is Christmassy, isn't it? Isn't that convenient?
How you doing?
Well, I don't know about average. How about you?
Doing great.
Okay, that's pretty good. Doing great is about as good as you can do, I think. Great is pretty great. You could be doing spectacular. I know that word, spectacular. But you save that for some...
Hey, how you doing, huh? How you doing?
Don't just throw that one out there. You gotta save that for special occasions and such. Anyway. Would be funny if his name was Edward. Like if his real name was Edward, that would be pretty funny.
Whatever's Adrian.
Okay, well, it's pretty close. I had a guy named Adrian that was horny for my wiener. He had kind of a girly name, and he was kind of wanted to play with my wiener, but I was like, it's a little bit weird. I don't know if I want to play with wieners. It's a conceptual idea, but I don't know. It's a little bit weird, so I didn't go anywhere with that, but who knows? This is the kind of name, like statistically, if you take a name like Adrian, I wonder if statistically more men named Adrian are poofters than not poofters.
It's a both sex name, guy and girl.
Yeah, okay. It's androgynous. Yeah, it's very androgynous. It's like the Andromeda Zone. Twilight Zone episode. My name's Adrian. Ooh, scary, scary. I can't figure out what I am. Yeah. Ooh.
Yo, Adrian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great scene, right, in Rocky? Yeah. Yeah. Adrian! I just got beat up! Let's have an ending to the movie! Could you come here so we can have an ending to the movie? It's very dramatic. Adrian! That was a great movie, though. Rocky. But I think they should have stopped at Rocky 3. Or they probably should have stopped at... Well, they should have probably skipped over 3. Well, no, 3 wasn't bad. It was 4 that was this... No, 4 was the Russian guy. Yeah, it was 5 that sucked. Okay. They didn't really get sucky until 5.
Yeah, him and De Niro are in some new movie.
Which was the one with Apollo Creed in it? Yeah, the black guy.
The first 2. Yeah, the Apollo Creed was in the first one, and Apollo Creed was in the second one, and then they had that snarky whatever he is, that bouncer guy, whatever his name was, little potty mouth. I can't remember what's his name. What was that guy's name? He was in those stupid TV shows and stuff. Teabag. Oh, Mr. Teabag. Oh, Mr. T. Yeah, that was it. I actually liked the Mr. T one just because, it's just, you're saying, wow, so Sylvester Stallone really worked on himself because he looked great in that third one. He really did look spectacularly healthy.
Yes, Stallone and De Niro are in some new fight-based movie where it's some rematch they're having, and they're trying to do the Rocky thing again or something.
Oh, they ought to just give that shit up, I think. They should be doing geriatric movies. I mean, these guys really are getting a little too old.
Well, they did those terrible movies, didn't they, where they all got together.
Sylvester
You know, like,
Stallone is making a movie right now, another boxing movie, or they just made it, and it's with him and Robert De Niro are actually going at it in the movie. So it's not a Rocky movie. It's like a comedy, you know.
Yeah, well,
Alan Arkin's in it. And
okay, somebody just mentioned that and nobody could give a fuck, and rat's ass. Everybody's saying, well, who wants to watch two old men fart on each other? No, not me, thank you very much.
Pretty much.
And boxing is just so moronic. I mean, it's just, I don't know how boxing has survived, because it's who the fuck could possibly care anymore? It's like it's a comic strip.
Yeah, let's watch a couple sweaty guys punch each other with padded gloves for 12 rounds. That's all it is.
Well, that part was always stupid, but I'm just saying the whole thing has just gotten so idiotic. I mean, the stupid, 50-year-old guys are making comebacks, and, Mike Tyson and all these people just made such a joke out of everything.
What about Charles Van Damme? Charles Van Damme.
Yeah, well, I think he's like desperate for money, so he's doing like I don't know, whatever you call those shows they do on TV where you like watch me make my breakfast and stuff, and so he's doing shows like that to make money so he can, make some money because he didn't have any money. I think he's gonna wrestle a turtle or something. Yeah, it's gonna be his big comeback, wrestling match with a turtle. Yeah, I didn't like him much, to tell you the truth.
A little bit much.
Never heard a Marley Cyrus song until I saw, and I watched the Wrecking Ball video, and I said, "Oh, now I get it. Yeah, okay, I like it."
Wow.
So whatever. Yeah, I said whatever that Pat Benatar thing happening. So it's just pretty interesting. But they're all interesting, right? All the women's are interesting.
What about Taylor Swift? Does Gary have a thing for her at all?
I don't remember her. Yeah, I can't remember.
well, she actually writes her own music, supposedly, unlike Miley Cyrus and the rest of Beyonce. She can play the guitar too.
Yeah, well, that's always, you always got to give people credit when they can, I mean, people, mock Madonna and stuff, but man, Madonna did a lot of interesting shit. I mean, it wasn't my taste, but I had to give her credit. She remade herself about 7,000 times, and she did it all somewhat, plausibly, Yeah, Lady Gaga is a little too weird. She's whacked.
What about Kim Wiley?
Don't know her. Is she married to Wile E. Coyote or anything? Yeah, I don't know too many people, especially celebrities. I don't have a TV, so I don't really look for anything. I don't go out and watch anything. I just make YouTube videos, and that's about all I do. Sit in the corner and think, make a YouTube video, cry and
How do you, How do you
What's
think
your
it compares?
channel? What's your YouTube channel?
Me be great. No, I think it's DoNotGod. No, it's in Mendham, actually. In Mendham. It's very complicated.
It's the town where he lives.
Well, I mean, you go to the
Think of a
website
better name.
DoNotGod.com, and then it's easy. So if you just go to DoNotGod.com, then everything me is there. Excuse me. Pneumonia.
Gotta love it.
Yes. I never coughed when I smoked real cigarettes. Isn't that ironic? Right? I'm smoking e-cigarettes and they're giving me pneumonia, and I never had a cough ever from a real cigarette.
Yeah, it happened to me also. I mean, I went from smoking a couple packs of menthols a day to smoking an e-cigarette, and I was coughing like crazy.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Not in a funny way. Yeah, well, actually, I got this juice really cheap. You know, it's only $5 a bottle, 30 milligram bottle, $5, really cheap. But yeah, obviously, it just doesn't agree with me. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to just smoke through it. It's the stuff I mixed before. I never got a cough from any of it. But I am hitting this is kind of hard. I have to admit, I have been, overdoing.
I found your channel.
Well, good.
Yay, golf clap.
You're lucky. You only got 2,500 videos to look through. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a lot of videos on there.
Not just the one channel. Yeah. But I'll just have to start making movies now. That's what I'm figuring. I have to start making movies.
You should make a music video. Yeah.
Dude, I'm good at doing songs. A horse is a horse, of course, unless it's a talking horse, of course, and such and so forth and whatnot and whatever. It's a Mystery Ed Show.
Gary, are you still making any economics videos?
I make an occasional one.
What's your opinion on the, you know how the Federal Reserve finally decided to start tapering off the, the quantitative easing, all that billions of dollars they pump into this economy every month, and so they finally pulled back, and now the stock market actually took off. It's going even higher, and the economy's growing faster than expected. So it's kind of against everything the pessimists were saying as far as the
quantitative easing, life support.
And then if we took off that, then the economy would collapse, right?
The economy isn't growing. The economy isn't growing. That's all the pile of shit. Look, it doesn't really matter till shit hits the fan.
Just negates all the doomsayers, all the fearmongers about the economy. They're all completely wrong.
They obviously don't.
And our debt
Isn't as big a
problem as they all make it out.
You're just going to make speeches about how you think the economy's okay. I think they're going to get the last laugh. What, you think everything happens the day you do something is when you pay for it? Is that how reality works, you think? You don't think that...
predictions have been wrong.
You don't think it's possible that somebody could buy something on a credit card today and not go bankrupt for 5 or 10 years? You don't think that's how it really works in the real world? That you borrow the money one time in history and then you have to pay for it later? You don't get that might work that way?
I know, but they were all saying the economy was going to collapse and that the dollar was going to tank and that the dollar was going to lose all its value. That's bullshit.
It hasn't done it for a whole month. Wow, it's survived 1 month of not doing quantitative easing. Wow, 1 month in the Christmas season. So wait till after January, and then let's see in March.
You really think the dollar is going to collapse still?
Let's see when they try to sell bonds, and they can't sell them, what happens?
The best part about it too is that gold has taken a hit big time, and that's supposed to be the big comparison with the dollar. You know, like the dollar was going to collapse and gold was going to go to $10,000
when the
an
stock
ounce.
market's going up, right? Obviously. Wait till the stock market starts going down, and all of a sudden gold will be way, way up. It'll be a big, huge surprise, won't it? No, it won't.
I just love that the Ron Paul, Alex Jones, Peter Schiff, you know, those assholes, completely wrong about everything the last few years. They lost all their investors. All the people who bought gold lost money the past few years. They all got suckered. The dollar is not going to collapse.
The dollar is going to collapse because there'll be no way to finance your Obamacare and all the rest of this shit because there's nowhere to get the money from. You can't tax the revenue required. You can't acquire the money because it's an entirely...
What's going to happen when it really push comes to shove? We're just going to redistribute some wealth, you know?
Create unemployment. It's a fact. So go ahead and try it.
Oh, come on. There's a lot of money sitting around that's not being used in the economy at all.
Well, I'm sorry. Whether it's being used in the economy is irrelevant to the fact that people are living on margin money. So
offshore bank accounts. They're hiding all the money from us.
Why would I want to argue endlessly with an asshole who thinks deficit spending makes sense? Okay, asshole, you're going to fail. The economy will crash. It's just a matter of time, okay? Debt can't work. It can't work.
They've only tapered their quantitative easing from 85 billion to 75 billion too. So it's not like they've completely reduced it.
And it's a tiny fraction of the fucking $5 trillion we piss away every year.
Well, I know that the 17 trillion is not that important. What's really important is the ratios,
yeah, right.
the debt to GDP.
17 trillion isn't that important, except for the fact that you will never pay interest on a savings account for the rest of the existence of mankind, right? So you're basically stuck in a position where interest rates can never go up ever again. No middle-class person could ever make any money on a savings account. No one will ever be rewarded for saving money ever again in America, okay, because of this idiocy, you fucking asshole. So you've guaranteed the non-existence of what's called the middle class, all right? All there's going to be is rich people and their servants, because of the fucking economy assholes like you have created.
Well, I never agreed. I never supported the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I never supported the tax cuts for the rich.
Talking like this is sustainable. Like an asshole, you're saying Obama has done something rational for the economy. He's done nothing that George Bush couldn't have done. He's kicked a shitty can down the road, and that's it, with gimmicks. Fucking gimmicks.
Well, I'm not saying the economy's great. I'm just saying it didn't collapse. You guys all said it would fucking collapse. We're wrong.
Asshole who thinks it has to do it the very same day you do something. It is not. Economies don't work that way. Okay? What the pollution you put in a lake today doesn't necessarily show up for fucking years. Fukushima's radiation isn't necessarily going to show up on the West Coast for maybe 10 years.
The dollar's become a lot less healthy in about the last 4 years. There used to be 865 billion physical dollars in circulation. Now there's about 2.5 trillion. That's
well, I know
a direct result of the quantitative easing.
3.5 trillion. So let's not even get into this argument about how many printed dollars there are. There just doesn't matter. The real argument is there any way we can pay the bills in the future? And that's the problem. There's no way to pay the bills in the future. And the entire stock market is not real money. So it's all fake wealth. Every cent in the stock market is fake wealth. None of it is a real asset. It's $1 on your $100. It's 10 cents. No, it's not even 10. It's 1 penny on the dollar. That's the real value in the stock market. 1 penny on a real dollar. And
a lot
that
of that would depend on what stock you're talking about, though.
To buy ownership and everything else. And so all of that ownership is fake. But if you consider those real claims, there's no way anybody can pay all of those IOUs.
So
do you
when they're
think it's-
talking about like raising the minimum wage to $10, do you think that's is that a bad idea because it's going to cost us too much money, or do you think that's a good idea?
Well, I think it's you have to have a decent wage base, or you might as well not have a country. So yeah, I think you have to have a minimum wage because it's idiotic to say let's just let desperation set wages in America. That's completely idiotic. So you can't do that. But obviously it's a world economy, so there's a consequence for establishing a minimum wage in the sense that yeah, you're not going to have any manufacturing jobs. So all you're going to do is have service jobs. So that's not going to work either. So, I mean, there's no way to play the world game and then try to play the let's do it different at home game. That ain't going to work.
So do you think it's just going to lead to some kind of Weimar scenario?
Well, I mean, we're already, what I'm saying it's going to lead to that.
The Weimar Republic.
Bullshit. You can't sell the bonds, all right? You won't be able to borrow any money. And so you're not going to be able to pull the money in from some other location, and you're not going to be able to raise the taxes without destroying employment. So if you raise taxes on the rich, which I think you have to do, but the consequence of that is everybody's working for the rich, and so the rich are just going to say they're going to cut back on shit. And especially if the stock market starts crashing, then the rich aren't going to be rich anymore, are they? All the people who think they're rich aren't going to be rich anymore. And if there's nobody to look, nobody's buying houses except for banks. Banks are buying houses and they're renting them to people. Okay? Because, yeah, the game is fucking basically over. There's rich people and poor people. And that ain't going to work that way. You can't have an economy that way. So, yeah, it's going to get fucked. But I'm just saying they have all these obligations. I mean, obviously people in the hospital have to be taken care of. People have to be paid to do certain jobs. And the government's not going to be able to have, they're not going to be able to get the money anywhere. So the only place to get the money is to print the cash. So in a sense,
Who cares about poor people? Just turn them into slaves and prostitutes. It's all the better for us, guys. Come on.
Well, whatever. But the point is that that's where the inflation will have to come from. It's either, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. You have to create, the only way to pay the money back is to either destroy the value, like pay it back in fake money, okay, like inflated money. So, you know, where we owe a guy $1 million for some bonds he owns, if we inflate the money to preposterously, well then it'll be really easy to pay him back because we'll just pay him back with shitty money. Or you have to just kill the debt. You have to just say, fuck it, we're not going to pay it. And I don't think anybody has the balls not to pay it. Ooh, yeah, we could insult his bird. That might hurt his feelings. Everybody think of insults, bird insults. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed in myself, and that I've really missed this economy thing. I didn't think they could kick this can down the road as long as they have, so I mean, I've been way off on my predictions, because I didn't think there'd be any way they could keep this debt engine afloat. But I just say that the signs are there that, you know, the game is over. People can't acquire any more debt. They're already way past debt that they can handle. And if interest rates, like I said, if interest rates ever go up again, the cost of debt is going to be so high that no one will be able to pay back any of the debt they owe.
Well, you're talking about like personal debt, right? That's separate than the
all of
17.
the debt. No, I'm not talking about just personal debt. I mean, you can keep making a joke about the debt that the federal government holds, but you're talking about, 8 hours a day for 5 years in the gulag for the average working person to pay back what they owe. The average working taxpayer's portion of the national debt is 5 years of hard labor in the gulag. It's a lot of money.
Well, but when you
You're
adjust
The value of their
Good job.
more the value, the equity they own in their house is the money they owe in federal debt.
I think it's about $240K per person.
Well, per working person. Again, you gotta monetize it to the people who are working because they're the ones that have to pay it.
Probably jumps up to like 330K then or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It's this preposterously huge amount of money. 5 years in the gulag.
Yeah, but how is that actually going to get extracted from us as long as we are working and making the same wages? How is that money going to get actually taken out of our... I mean, when's that bill going to finally come due?
They're just going to print it.
Getting the same wages, okay? We're not. Wages are going down, okay? So we're making 50% of what we were making 30 years ago, and that's a real number, okay? So the wages are going... Working wages are going down steadily. And the point is that it's all been bought on a credit card, so it all looks like we're surviving, but we're not surviving because it is eventually going to have to be paid back when nobody can be trusted to incur new debt. So if nobody can incur new debt to pay for the old debt, the interest income, then everybody's going to want their money to make money. So a rich guy is going to say, if no one's paying him, if he's not making any interest capital, he's not going to keep a business open if he's losing money, is he? No, he's not. So that's when the unemployment spiral, like happened in 1929, will happen. Everybody will become unemployed because rich people are not going to give you free food. They're not going to give you free electricity. They're not going to give you free Walmart candy. They're not going to give you free Starbucks coffee. They're not going to give you free shit. And so everything's going to get shut down, and there'll be a huge unemployment spiral. And so, yeah, there'll be rich people who still have money, and there'll be poor people who don't have jobs.
Wasn't the Depression prolonged by kind of the lack of action by the federal government? I mean, that's what Ben Bernanke, this time he did the opposite. He actually got involved, and he prevented us from going into a real depression.
Well, again, you're saying that somehow it's already happened. It hasn't happened yet. You haven't had anything close to the depression yet. You haven't had you haven't paid back any of the debt, have you? Have you fixed any of the 1929 debt problem? The depression fixed the debt problem, right? All the stock market crashed, all the phony wealth, all of those IUs turned into shit. Everybody just went bankrupt essentially. So the whole nation just said, "I'm bankrupt, I'm bankrupt, I'm bankrupt." So all the debt got wiped out, and everybody had to start the fuck over. All right? So that does take a little bit of time. And yeah, the government might have been able to act sooner by saying, look, we're just going to create... They could have just created a new currency. But yeah, they got a little bit... They said, let's invent an income tax. And then World War II messed up the whole equation, because who knows what would have happened without World War II. But, so because that changed the whole... Obviously, it changed the labor market. It created all kinds of opportunity for women to go to work. I mean, everything changed because of that. But you can't afford to do a World War II, can you?
Well, as far as I understand, we actually had about the same debt level after World War II as we do now, in terms of real terms, when you adjust it. But back then, they had a lot easier means to recover from it because we were the predominant economy in the world at the time, so it was easy for us to recover from that. And we did. We paid off a lot of that debt, and then the debt exploded again after Ronald Reagan.
You're not carrying anything anywhere. Look, you want to keep using fake GDP numbers, go ahead and use fake GDP numbers, all right? But that's what they are. They're fake.
That's how economists measure it.
Number. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. You can pretend that it's a real number. Go ahead. It's a lie. All right? And at the end of 1946, Okay? No, the average citizen did not owe 5 years hard labor in debt. They didn't.
The way they figure it out is they compare what a country earns per year, right? And then what the debt is. So if it's 100%, that means that the debt is equal to 1 year's income for the economy.
All right, there's no earning here. Do you think it's earning when the stock market goes up? You think that's earning or making money? You've made money because the stock market went up. No, what you've done is acquired another debt instrument. The stock market can only increase when debt increases. So all it means when the stock market goes up is that somebody else has borrowed some money.
I'm not talking about the stock market.
Well, again, I'm talking about the stock market because that's critical to undoing the debt. So that's what undid the debt in 1929, and then that's the only way you're going to undo the debt now. Again, you explain it to me. You tell me if the economy kept doing what it's doing now, and you tell me how an economy couldn't thrive when no bank account will pay interest that's bigger than inflation. So if I put my money in the bank, my money actually will lose value. So if I save money, I will lose money. So you tell me how that's sustainable and how there's any way you can fix that without causing a crisis.
I don't know. I don't know about how to fix the problems at all. I was merely pointing out that 3 years ago, you would have said that we're at the beginning of a downward trajectory, that we're just going to keep going down. And it turns out that we've actually, those predictions of collapse were completely wrong.
Look at the 1929 crash. Guess what? It went up before it went down. So those are called dead cat bounces, okay? So this has been a huge dead cat...
Hero agrees with me. Things are getting slightly better.
Dead cat bounce, okay? Unemployment is still way too high. Real wages, the jobs that people are getting are at lower wages than the jobs they had. These are signs of this is dead cat bounce all over the place.
Yeah, all we got to do now is tax the rich.
Well, again, I explained to you, in a service economy, taxing the rich will mean unemploying the poor.
No, because wait, hold on. A service economy depends on consumption, right? And actually, the middle class and the poor spend like almost all of their income. So that's good for consumption. If you get the rich people only spend a small percentage of their income. So that's bad for consumption.
Go look at the real statistics for even the Christmas sales, okay? The richest 5% account for 45% of the sales.
Well, that's because the middle class poor don't have any money to spend. If you gave them money, they'd spend it all.
For money, right. So the fucking fact that poor people are buying a few slushies does not mean the economy is booming.
I'm just saying a middle class person spends a greater proportion of their income than a rich person does.
I don't know how many times I have to say this. In a service economy, you can't tax the rich because they're the only ones employing people. Unless you have industry, unless you actually make something in this fucking rat shit country, alright, you can't tax the rich as a solution, because if you tax the rich, they won't hire the poor.
Well, you might be right that they might be like assholes like
Yeah, they lose like 9 cents.
Well, the point is that Amazon is going to drive more and more businesses out of business. So Amazon is like the Walmart to come. So eventually Amazon will destroy any competitor because it's a company basically losing money. And so who can compete with a company willing to lose money, right? It's very difficult to compete with a company losing money. So eventually they'll drive enough of the competition out of business that they'll own the online retail market, and then they'll be able to name their own price.
Apparently they lost $32 million last year. Amazon.
Well, I'm just saying that Amazon doesn't make money as a company, okay? I'm just saying that it will not make money for an awful long time because of the way it was financed, okay? It was financed on borrowed money after borrowed money after borrowed money after borrowed money. It has decades of legacy debt it's buried under. I think eBay is going to start heading down the same toilet, to tell you the truth, because, you know, eBay with you know, the delivery charges have gone up so high that I don't think eBay is going to be viable for much longer. Because, you know, who the fuck can afford to spend, you know, who's going to spend $10 to have something sent to them? You know, it's just way too expensive to send anything in this country anymore.
Yeah.
It's still cheap to get Chinese shit on eBay. That's the funny thing. eBay will probably just become a distributor for China. It'll be like just all Chinese shit on eBay. I mean, it's kind of ironic that you can get stuff sent from China cheaper than I can get something sent from New York. You know, it costs less to send something from China than it costs to send something 40 miles away.
So I guess you're saying like Amazon's doing like the William Randolph Hearst model of business, right? Because I mean they're putting so much of their money into expanding.
Hearst did on purpose. Hearst did it on purpose. Amazon has backed into that model. That wasn't Amazon's original intent. Amazon thought it could just make money doing this, you know, little niche markety thing on the internet, and it found out that reality means you have to sell stuff people actually want to buy. And so that's why they migrated to all consumer goods, right? I mean, Amazon started as just a bookseller online, do one thing, do it really well, and they couldn't make any money just doing that, so they had to start selling flowers, and they got to start selling this, and then candy bars, and then let's just sell anything. And so, yeah, now they've gotten serious about being an